Welcome to the history of the Disney parks. This episode, we're taking a look at the world-famous Jungle Cruise. While Disneyland was still just an idea on a piece of paper, Walt Disney wanted a boat ride in his Adventureland section of the park. At the time, Disney didn't have any animated movies that would fit into Adventureland, but they did have a very successful film series. Inspired by the True Life Adventure films, Disney would duplicate some of these settings for a new boat ride that would anchor this land. At first, Walt wanted to place real live animals within the attraction. However, Disney quickly realized that stocking real animals within Adventureland was neither safe nor practical. Walt would have to settle for animatronics instead. Once the concept for the Jungle Cruise was complete, Walt appointed a Disney art director by the name of Harper Goff. Walt and Harper insisted that construction on the Jungle Cruise should start as soon as possible in order to give the trees and plants enough time to develop and grow. Walt turned to Imagineering legend and horticulturist Bill Evans to create the landscape for the attraction. Using the site's existing landscape, Bill incorporated the large eucalyptus planted by the original farmers as a visual barrier between Adventureland and Main Street, USA. Evans had to get a bit creative while designing the landscape for the Jungle Cruise. He needed to create a lush-looking jungle, but on a budget. Some of these techniques included planting orange trees upside down to resemble mangroves, and cutting the roots off of maple trees, making them look like gnarly jungle stumps. The Jungle Cruise's layout was designed by Harper Goff. As the story goes, Harper took a stick and with the bulldoze operator nearby, handcrafted the layout on site. All of the audio animatronics were created and built at Walt Disney Studios by the studio technicians. They were then transferred and hoisted into position at the park. The Jungle Cruise was hollowed out and made deeper wherever there was animation in the water. Here you can see all the different control wires that made these animatronics come to life. The Jungle Cruise was completed a couple of months before Disneyland opened. In the meantime, Walt Disney, Harper Goff, and other Imagineers took many test voyages before opening day. When Disneyland finally opened in 1955, the Jungle Cruise was a massive success with guests. It quickly became the most popular ride in Disneyland at the time. While planning Walt Disney World, the Imagineers looked at what rides they could bring over from the West Coast to the Magic Kingdom. Jungle Cruise was on top of their list, along with the Haunted Mansion and some others. Everything created for Walt Disney World was intended to be an upgraded version of what Disneyland had. It would also have to handle a larger number of visitors. The Jungle Cruise was no exception. The Magic Kingdom's version is slightly larger and has more boats than its counterpart in California. Unlike Disneyland's, Mark Davis was the lead designer on the Magic Kingdom's Jungle Cruise. Florida's version had elements that were absent from Disneyland's, like Inspiration Falls, the scene where the gorillas are ransacking a safari camp, and most notably, the flooded temple. The Jungle Cruise was an instant success. The attraction proved to be a hit at both parks, although each version had some notable differences. The entrances at both attractions are quite different. In the mid-1990s, Disney Imagineers needed to squeeze the Indiana Jones adventure into Disneyland's Tiny Adventureland. Indy's new entrance courtyard and queue would force the Jungle Cruise to be slightly rerouted. A new Jungle Cruise boathouse provided a second level that could be used as an overflow queue for either the Indiana Jones Adventure or the Jungle Cruise. Around this time, the actual boats of the attraction changed as well, to fit with the overall time period and theme that Indiana Jones was bringing to the land. Another difference between the two is Schweitzer Falls. Disneyland's Schweitzer Falls looks far less impressive than Florida's. Although both waterfalls act as a dispensary for the attraction's dye, Disney purposely tints the water so guests can't see the track or any of the mechanics controlling the audio animatronics. Lastly, Disneyland and the Magic Kingdom have two totally different looking Trader Sam's at the end of their attractions. When Tokyo Disneyland was getting built, it was only logical to install one of Disney's most successful and popular rides. Tokyo's Jungle Cruise is very similar to Walt Disney World's. The major difference is the boats travel clockwise around the river instead of counterclockwise. Disneyland Paris does not have a Jungle Cruise, mostly due to the cold temperatures and harsh weather. Hong Kong Disneyland opened with a Jungle Cruise in 2005. This Jungle Cruise is quite different as it circumnavigates Tarzan's treehouse. The attraction's grand finale includes a battle between the angry fire and water gods. Shanghai Disneyland does not have a Jungle Cruise, or an Adventureland for that matter, but does have a similar ride system called Voyage to the Crystal Grotto, located in Fantasyland. The Jungle Cruise is a beloved attraction by visitors young and old. Its corny skippers, dingy boats, and its wild cast of characters make the Jungle Cruise a classic Disney attraction that will continue to entertain new generations of guests for years to come.